Tensions remain high in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo amidst renewed fighting involving the M23 rebel group and accusations that Rwanda is supporting the movement. The situation has drawn international attention, including sanctions from the United States that has imposed these sanctions on Rwanda's military and senior officials for backing M23 rebels in Congo. Journalist and editor at Kigezi News, Uganda, Musinguzi Goodluck unpacks this. A very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Anissa.
For the listeners that are unfamiliar with the conflict, can you briefly explain to us what the M23 group is and why it has become a central in the crisis that we currently see in the Democratic Republic of Congo?
The M23 is these are a group of people who claim they come from Eastern DRC. They were if I can take you back a little bit, when Rwanda and Uganda helped President Jose Desire Kabila, the late, to win, to remove the former president of Zaire, then what happened was that there are some people from the Rwandan ethnic, or those who were speaking a similar language like the Rwandese, who are from the Mulenge Mountains in the Eastern DRC, who were incorporated in the forces of DRC. And some people were even, I think, included in cabinet. But as time went on, I think there was some resentment in DRC, especially in Kinshasa, where some people were saying, we shouldn't have these people, with us, and there was a claim that they want to take over. And eventually, what happened is that some of those guys who had been, put in the ranks of the DRC army were killed, and those who ran away and managed to return to the forests of DRC formed a rebel group. Of course, finding other rebel groups. This one is the most prominent, but there are others like 100. So when they signed the agreement on March 23rd, that's what they call the M23. So it's a name that comes out of an agreement that was signed, but which DRC, the former president, Joseph Kabila, rejected to implement. And so the fighting went on. He was supported by allied forces, especially South Africa, Tanzania, and they pushed them away. So the last 12 years, they had been defeated until when they resurfaced like 1 or 2 years ago, reorganized, and now came up a bit stronger. And so this is what we are seeing today. So there is a contestation that are these Rwandese, are these Congolese? But having covered the war inside, yes, these people speak both languages. As a person, I can't tell, I don't have authority to say whether they are Congolese or not. But that's what the background about this M23, a rebel group that is failing to go away, that we find ourselves discussing today.
Yeah. So a few months ago, we saw that Trump had praised the leaders of both the Democratic Republic of Congo as well as Rwanda for their courage, which also obviously opened up deals for the region's critical minerals. However, we have seen that the United States has now imposed sanctions related to the conflict. What are these sanctions, and how would these sanctions affect Rwanda?
I particularly also watched the Washington Accords. For the first time, I thought it was really going to work out, because for me and you as a journalist, while the leaders are out there in their offices, the people are the ones who suffer daily. When you go to Congo, if I have memories of what I saw, I sometimes cry seeing, women carrying water, running away, and all that. It's a region that has been, denied so much. First of all, I already say here on this show that Kinshasa is 3,600 kilometers away from Eastern DRC, very far away. The administration is very far away, and therefore development and all these things have not been. So when they signed this, we thought this was going to work out. But of course, I think no sooner had they finished than fighting, and I think M23 captured Uvira and some other places, and therefore they went on square, maybe zero, negative. And yes, the US has put political and economic sanctions on some senior officials, but also on the institution of RDF. And what that means, it means that for the first time, because others argue that when you put on individuals and you let the institution, maybe the institution thrives, or the individuals can be removed and they put other people. But this time around, they also went for the institution of RDF, Rwanda Defense Forces. What that means is that in the short while, Rwanda has said the sanctions are unfair to them, they are one-sided, while DRC is celebrating, saying maybe they can have something that could force the RDF, the alleged that the allegation that they are in DRC, they can pull out. So in the long run, if RDF is doing businesses anywhere, they will suffer. For example, visa and not being on the international payment system, but also could companies that have been buying minerals from Rwanda be targeted? Maybe that could be another level. So, but also some people are asking that did Africa or did DRC sell its economic rights to the USA? Of course, with the current war in what we saw in Venezuela, now Iran, and now DRC. Of course, we know there is that economic war on fuel, on oil, but also on critical minerals that are needed to push some of the other companies. So it's a mixed reaction, but definitely it sends shockwaves in Rwanda. And I was able to see one of the videos where the president of Rwanda was trying to argue. But of course, when sanctions come to you and they have been put, and like we have seen, the independence of Africa, the independence of the Middle East, maybe talk of China and Russia, which have really tried to fade off some of these things. But for me, overall, as a journalist, fighting has never been something I approve. Killing people or having people displaced is something all of us, say no. But now with the sanctions, but also with the way America is treating also others, brings another question. Will the African Union, for example, stand with Rwanda and DRC? Will Qatar try to come in, which was trying to solve? So it remains a question that is not going to be resolved. Are we going to see America now come to bomb a small country called Rwanda? We have a region here which is a bit bigger than that. So Rwanda is so small. Are they going to come and bomb them and push them out of DRC? So it remains a big question, and I don't think it is going to be sorted now. Is Rwanda getting so much minerals that they can, say we don't want the aid from USA? Or if they put them those sanctions where they stop other companies from buying and dealing with them, what does that mean? Is it, like Rwanda is saying, is it bullying? Is it taking away their rights? But also, is DRC able to protect itself? An administration that is 3,600 kilometers away from the epicenter of the war, what can they control? What is in it? If you saw Goma Airport before they closed, it was having more planes than most of these airports in the region, but not carrying people, carrying minerals.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
No, very interesting insight from you. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, but it was a very interesting insight, and thank you so much for that. That was Ugandan journalist Musinguzi Goodluck speaking to us about the escalating conflict in Eastern Congo and its wider regional implications.